It is simply a beautiful industry, and I think anybody who walks into it never goes out of it. I come from a school of taking care of your people, never let them down. They grow with you, you cherish them more. We are in the Arab world. Everybody eats the Lebanese cheese and bread. Why would people eat pizza? See, let me tell you why Americana is called Americana.
Wow.
I'll have to tell you the story that I always tell to everybody. I had a wake-up call to be like this. The first sentence that I heard from my son was, "Who is this?"
Ouch. The decision of who do you marry, where do you live, and who are the people you work with. These three decisions just take you on a roller coaster of life in a good or a bad way.
We had few challenges, big type of challenges. We need to turn it around. It is very nice if you become famous in your life. And it is also very nice if you become great in your life. But not a lot of people will become famous, unfortunately. But everybody can be great. Listen, every day we're discovering something in this journey now. Every single day. I'm just in the beginning of the journey.
Hi, welcome to Restrocast. Today my guest is Sherif, Managing Director, Olayan Group, a group that manages Burger King, Texas Chicken, and Buffalo Wild Wings across various countries and markets in Middle East. Sherif's journey is inspirational on many fronts, apart from being a great human being that will come through very, very clearly in this conversation. He's also one of those rare people who can be called veterans in global restaurant space. Spent 25 years at Americana, Kuwait food company that is the largest operator of some of the most iconic global brands in the Middle East, like Pizza Hut, KFC, Wimpy's, Hardee's, and many more. In his own admission, he left to join an oil and gas company for a couple of years. While the business was good, those were the most miserable years for him, not because of oil and gas, but because his heart lies in the restaurants. So a true blue restaurant operator at heart, somebody who, tells me that he works 9 to 6 in the office, and after 6 p.m. he goes to the restaurants on the round to meet his team, and that's where the real action begins. Sherif's conversation is a lot to learn on many fronts of how to be loyal to both your employers and your employees, your colleagues, how to treat people, how to look at life and humans in general, how to take care of the family, as well as how to treat your work. This is an inspirational conversation. I'm sure you'll enjoy. Welcome to Restrocast. Sherif, welcome to Restrocast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are somebody, when you're a true veteran in the restaurant industry. Very few people there are in the world, from a world population perspective, very few who can be really called veteran, in the industry, who have spanned career of decades purely, working with, in, and scaling some of the most iconic brands. And, that's your career. So congratulations on that. But I want to start with the start. Tell me about your growing up years, where you're from, and how did you land in the restaurant industry earliest time?
Yeah, that's a very long time ago.
We have time. We have time.
Okay. First, thank you for the intro. I'm a very normal person. Let's agree on this. I guess there are a lot of people who are like me or even better than me in this part of the world or globally. It is simply a beautiful industry, and I think anybody who walks into it never goes out of it. And while we are in the from where did I come and how did I go, there is a part of my life actually that I left the industry and I worked in oil and gas for 4 years. And I promise you, I wasn't as happy as I was working in here. So I'm Egyptian. I grew up all my life in Egypt. went to a French school, studied French all my life, then walked into the American University in Cairo, studied mechanical engineering. I enjoyed myself very much in this university. So I did two minors in order to make sure that I stay longer in the university. So I did business administration and I did computer science.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That was back in what year?
This was in 87 until 93.
No way.
Yes.
There was a course on computer science? Like a major?
Actually, while I was in the university, we discovered the computers and we started buying them. Started having this internet that used to do
Yes, I remember that. Dial-up modems.
I did all of this. I did all of this.
2 kbps or 4 kbps.
I remember in 1994 when I joined my first company where I worked for food. I asked for a laptop, and I remember in a company with like 40, 50,000 employees, I was the first ever to get a laptop.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that must
like,
be a...
Yeah, it was a compact. I don't know what.
I was about to ask you, was it a compact? Because I've seen that
compact. I don't know what.
I've seen that compact, and I remember, how bulky, it was on both ends.
Yes, and then a few years later moved to Sony Vaio, if you remember this
100%,
device as well.
100%.
Small and big, red and blue, and so yeah.
Sony Vaio, I think, came much late, 98, 99.
Yeah, in the 90s as well. Yeah. So this was the normal evolution at that time.
Correct.
And then I started. I walked into Americana at that time as a management trainee for a 1.5 year.
Was it called Americana or was it called Kuwait Food Company?
The name is Kuwait Food Company. The logo is Americana. So both of them are there all the time. It is famous by being named Americana, but the original name on licenses and everything, it is Kuwait Food Company. It differs from in some countries where we had to change the names. So in Egypt, I don't know, it was called Egypt Touristic Company for I don't know what. But Kuwait was Kuwait Food Company. UAE and Oman were Kuwait Food Company. In Saudi, it was National Company for Touristic Projects, something like this. Anyway, so I started there as a management trainee. And to be honest, it wasn't like leaving Egypt and going to Kuwait. Wasn't that something like you would be like looking forward very much in Egypt at those times? Especially when you graduate from a good university with a strong language. I got the first job actually in IBM World Trade Corporation.
Oh.
Yes. My mom was the assistant vice president of AUC. She was quite a strong and influential lady in Egypt. Wow. And through her, I got my first job in the sales and marketing of IBM World Trade Corporation in Egypt. But I only stayed there for 6 months. Then got headhunted. Don't ask me how. At this age, got headhunted by Americana. And then went to Kuwait.
Why? What were they trying to hunt for?
Until today, they never told me. The HR manager never told me. But I'll tell you what. We had a very senior Americana personnel living in our building where I lived in Heliopolis in Egypt. And this building was like in 10 apartments. And everybody was so busy, nobody ever took care of this building. And they went into making an owners association and this and that. Nobody was free to do anything. So once my dad was going to those meetings and he said, why don't you come with me? It's fun. Come, you will enjoy it. So I went and I sat there listening to all of those grown-ups speaking left, right, and center. And then I was like, you guys are wasting your time and you're wasting everybody's time and you're wasting a lot of money. I decided that I will lead this for you. If you agree, then I'll take over this building. You do nothing, I'll take care of it. And I actually did, and everybody was happy, and we never had any meetings after that, and the building was run perfectly, efficiently, maintenance,
interesting,
everything. And I think that man is the one who told to HR that there is this kid on the block who is super confident of himself and thinks he can do miracles. This is the only thing I can associate. But every time I approach our corporate HR manager, I asked him. He said, we'll never let you know, with a big smile on his face.
Nice.
So I was headhunted.
That's well earned.
Yeah, went to Kuwait, started my career as the assistant, the assistant for the deputy general manager of the group. So this was the second ranking in the company. I started this management training, and then after a year and a half, he came and looked at me and he said, so what next? I said, what next? There is nothing next. I need to go back down there and discover what the hell is happening. He said, are you sure? I said, yeah. He said, okay. Next day, I found myself an area manager for 6 stores in KFC. And this was the start. 6 months of training. I remember Kuwait is very cold, by the way, in winter. Super cold. And I remember they used to let me
Colder
go.
than Riyadh?
Colder than Riyadh.
Wow, that's cool.
And at those times, we used to defrost the chicken overnight in the sinks, in water. And I remember I had to go at 5 a.m., open the store alone, to cut 1,000 chicken from a whole bird to 9 piece on an electric saw. And the water was freezing, taking the chicken from the water. And you have these huge...
Why were you doing that alone? You were the area manager of 6
No. This was the 90 days of training first.
Oh, okay. The grind.
Yeah. So moving to an area manager, I had to take the technical training.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had to do stuff, clean toilets, carry deliveries, cut chicken, cook chicken, cashier drive-through, and remind me to tell you the story of the cashier drive-through. Until assistant manager, then restaurant manager. This took 6 months. 90 days of hard work, 90 days of store management, total of 180 days.
Brilliant.
The best job ever was the drive-through cashier. You meet a lot of people, you go out with a lot of people. I was a bachelor and singular at that time. But it was so much fun. This is the job I like the most, actually.
Why? Because like general banter?
No, I just got to know a lot of girls my age.
Of course.
And I started going out and I was having fun in Kuwait.
Nice.
But those 180 days, this is what made what I am today.
So you turned drive-through cashier into literally a pickup.
This was a little time. The 90 days of the
window
operations.
For real.
It was a pickup window for real. By selling chicken.
Who knew? Who knew where the girls were hanging out?
So now you know a secret about the drive-through that nobody ever told you about.
Yeah, I mean, just 20 years too late.
Yeah. Anyway, then I took the career from there, from area manager to... I was country manager of Kuwait by the age of 28. Then moved to UAE in 2000. Had a special project in Abu Dhabi for a year and a half. Then took over UAE until 2010. 2010, I took a regional role. Until 2015, I became the chief operating officer of the group, all brands. So at that time, we had like 12 brands, international franchising, 8 brands local, 42,000 employees.
Wow.
Then I became on the way. I took over.
That is a 21-year-long career?
Yeah.
94?
No. That's 25, 26 years on career.
You said 80s.
Then you add to this the 4 or 5 years of oil and gas.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a 31 career, 32 career.
What's the oil and gas story?
I'll tell you. So when the acquisition of Americana happened, I stayed for 1 year working with His Excellency Mohammed Al Abbar and the new management. And I learned a lot. But I guess we disagreed conceptually on how to manage people.
What year was that?
This was 2016 to 17. Sorry, 2016, 2017. I guess everybody has a different way to manage, and it is right. I totally believe in this. If you get 10 managers, you give them one task. They can do it 10 different ways, but they can all achieve the task. I come from a school of taking care of your people, never let them down. They grow with you, you cherish them more, and you take care of them and their families forever. I think some other people would think, no, get young people, cut costs down, get rid of the old, get rid of the expensive people, and bring young people with half the price. This is right and this is right. This has proven to be very successful. This has proven to be very successful. This was for me a very ethical thing. So I decided to quit. And I think that I quit at one of my highest peaks in life. And until today, I don't know this was a smart decision or not, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it, but I don't know whether it was smart or not.
You were the group COO, Americana.
I was acting CEO and I was the COO. Then when the acquisition happened, all the C-suite level left and I was kept there. So I acted as CEO. I was given targets. And then I actually achieved all the targets. New management was very happy. I became the KFC general manager. 5 months later, I resigned. Okay, let's skip this part. And then when I left, I was approached on the same day by the old management of Americana, who developed, starting 1997, another company in Egypt called EK Holding, Egypt Kuwait Holding. This was working in oil and gas and petrochemicals and fertilizers. It was totally a different game. At that time, it was like $1.5 billion company in Egypt operating on those fields. They said, we want to open in the Gulf area. So why don't you join us? And establish for us a company there. Come, get the training, understand what we do, go replicate in the GCC. So went, did the training in oil and gas and water chilling systems. At least I was happy. I was using my engineering degree.
Finally.
And I actually acquired a gas company in Dubai and opened another company in Saudi and bid it for a huge contract in Saudi. And after I left the company, went to Olayan, they called me to celebrate. They said, we want you to celebrate because we actually won the bid of Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
That you are the one who did.
Wow. Beautiful.
So of course a huge team was working with me. I was not the only person. But we never thought that we were going to take this bid. It was really good. And then I left EK Holding the minute I got the offer for Olayan.
We'll talk about that. We'll take a step back. Two things. One, the dynamic world of restaurants is too dynamic. Two, you get best of both worlds. You're at the back end as well as you're at the front end. Your eyes are everywhere. 4 years. How did you pass 4 years in oil and gas and whatever you were doing there?
It was the most boring thing in my life. Actually, don't talk to me. Talk to my wife. You talk to my wife was like, when the hell are you going back to the restaurants business?
You were so bored that you made her life miserable.
Having a job from 9 to 6. Can you imagine that? And being home at 6 o'clock, looking to everybody in the house, don't know what to do with them. I remember in COVID, I was working in this. And I was very lucky because I was working in gas. So we were those vital
of
lines.
Course. You're on the positive side of crisis.
Yes. So I was in our company, office was working. We had permits to drive 24/7 in Dubai. So I didn't sit one day at home. And we used to operate 6. The first thing I did when I joined this company is that I shifted everything to 6 days of operations per week. I'm not used to work 5 days only. I don't know how. So I shifted it. And then during COVID, there was one Saturday I decided to sit home. So we had my wife, my younger kid, my 2 sons who were studying in the UK but were back home, and we had a visitor. The daughter of a friend of mine from Kuwait. She was flying back from Canada to Kuwait via Dubai, and she got blocked in Dubai. She actually stayed with us for 8 months or 9 months.
8-9 months.
Yeah. Kuwait was locked for a very, very long time. Even after everybody opened, Kuwait didn't open.
Oh, wow.
So they were all there having finals, studying, and I decided, out of boredom, of course, to increase the speed of the internet in the house. I messed up the entire internet. Everybody wanted me out that day. It only stayed for 4 hours, and after that was fixed. And I have to admit, it was double the speed.
I think it's funny because
But yeah, it's
no, at times people will tell me, about work-life balance. And then I'll ask them, okay, if you get that balance, what will you do? So, okay, I'll spend a lot of time with family. I generally always ask them, have you asked family? Because while you want to spend time with family, you should at least once check with them. maybe they would want to see you much less because you are going to fiddle with stuff.
yeah. And I start asking all the wrong questions and giving hard time in the wrong time, and you do everything wrong. But I believe in life work balance, but I don't believe, okay, I work 6.5 days a week. I go to the office at around 8:30 to 9, stay in the office until 6 to 7. Then the action starts. Then the job starts.
Yeah. The
6:37, I go restaurant touring until midnight. Then sleep for 5 hours. Then start again. Do I know my family? Yes. Have I taken care of my kids? I guess so. Is my wife a happy wife? I believe so. Or at least this is what she's telling me.
yeah, and one should never ask.
So I don't think that the life-work balance comes based on how many hours you sit at home, but rather the quality of the things you do with them when you are around.
Beautiful.
So we travel annually. One of the things that me and Rania take pride of, is that both my elder sons have graduated and they're working. And last year we were traveling, the year before, to Greece. And they said, we're going to pass by you for 5 days. I was like, our kids want to come and spend time with us. Yeah. We definitely did something right.
And that's true. That's absolutely, that's right.
Yeah, but it takes two to tango. I think while I was growing and working Fridays and Saturdays, I think also my wife was a very kind person to me. If it wasn't her and her understanding and her support, I don't think I would have made it there. So it is the whole thing to be managed right with the right people. If nobody's complaining, everybody's happy, everybody's giving the right time for the right cause, work-life balance happens. So it's not the amount of days or hours you spend there.
Beautiful. Thanks for saying that. Not only I totally believe in it, I think you just summed it up too well, and not theoretically, because you are talking about your life. So that just
I've seen it.
Yeah, that's just a better definition.
So yes, I'll have to tell you the story that I always tell to everybody. I had a wake-up call to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
So when Omar is 15 now, when he was 2.5 to 3, so this should be like 12 years ago, I arrived from a business trip on Thursday night. I had my cousin, his wife and kids visiting us in Dubai, staying with us at home. I woke up at 9, was walking down the stairs, and everybody was preparing breakfast. And then I saw Omar, my elder son, while I was walking, and he was standing at the door of the kitchen. I said, "Hey, Omar, I'm back." And he ran away to the kitchen. So I walked into the kitchen. I found him hugging his mom's leg, looking at me, looking at her, look at me again. And the first sentence that I heard from my son was, "Who is this?"
Ouch.
Yes. This was a wake-up call. At that time, I used to travel between 250 to 270 days per year. So I even said, I always say that the two elder sons are Rania's kids. They're not my kids. They are her children. Just to make myself young as well. And then, I remember on that Friday, I took a decision to bring down my traveling to 180 days. It was a decision taken, communicated to my company management, everybody. It was done. And then on the same morning, I saw a cat moving in the house, and I was like, "Look, there's a cat in the house." And everybody looked at me and said, "That's Sam." And I said, "Who is Sam? Do we have a cat? I never knew that." They said, No, Sam, he's the cat of the neighbors." It's like, okay, I need to be in this house more.
Yeah, Sam has the same feelings about you.
Yeah. Sam also was worried, who is this? So yeah, you sometimes need a wake up call as well. It is not that everything is rosy. I was the perfect man in the perfect family. No, we learned as we go. But I think we learned and we talked, and I think talking is very important, whether at work or at home.
Yep. Alignment and communication.
Yes, communication mainly. Forget about alignment, but we need to talk about things that bother us. We need to talk about things that we want to improve. We need to talk about things that make us sad, make us happy. And then everybody takes this away and come back the next morning thinking on how to fix things and make everybody else happy and content. So this, you add this to the statement that I gave before, and I think this is what makes a happy, or even at work, a group of people working together happy.
Amazing. I want to take you back to Americana days. You worked with them for 25 years.
Yes.
And
25 beautiful years.
25 beautiful years.
Yes.
And, exactly. The fact that you used beautiful there, even when I said 25 years, I want to know more. How was Americana of those days? I've heard a lot of good stories, about Americana from very few handful of people that I have met in last few years who worked with Americana. But one common thing that I saw in almost all of them were lifers. I think the youngest guy I know was in Americana for 18 years or 17 years, irrespective of the ranks. They all found it very difficult to work for another company right after. So all of them had a very similar trajectory, left Americana and then hopped 2 or 3 companies in one year. But that was not because they were hoppers, or it was because they just couldn't adjust to the culture. And in their own admittance, they said, well, we were taken care of too well. So I know that Americana took care of its people way too well. And people like you who are smart, who had the potential, who delivered, keeping talented people is even more harder. It's not only about just treating them well. What was the Americana that held you for 25 years? And what was that thing about taking care of people?
Let's agree that Americana before and Americana now both are great companies. Because
I'm still talking about the previous people, the operators.
No, because I always hear people saying, the old Americana was amazing. Now it's I don't know what. I totally disagree on this.
No. I don't think I'm alluding to that for sure. For clarification,
no, even for those people who say that, I always like to say this statement. It's just as you said. It's a different company management and it's a different culture.
Correct.
I think the people the generation who lived with the first company, that got spoiled and they got so attached that it was very difficult for every single one of them to change and shift, including myself. Rightfully said, this is not an industry of food or restaurants. This is what we call, it's a people business. It's people when it comes to customers, and it's people when it comes to employees. The company that we're talking about is a company that put its employees on the top of the helm, even above shareholders. The shareholders themselves promoted that. So, very successful company that literally took care of every single need of its employees, and I'm going to give you examples of this, to the extent that those employees started acting and believing that this is their own company and that they're willing to work non-stop 24/7 until they resolve any problem out of this belief. You get sick, the company takes care of you. Insurance is not going to cover, company will take care of you. You need to travel because your medical needs are not available with a good perfection in your area, company will take care of that. Company will go the extra mile to find the doctors globally, to book the appointments, to put you on a plane, send somebody with you, make sure that you get treated and come back. This was the company I'm talking about. Company, I'll tell you one example. When I started realizing this, I was in my KFC training, so maybe 95 or 96. I was doing a training in another brand. And a restaurant manager came to me and he said, my daughter needs a kidney transplant. And I don't need anything. I just need somebody to guarantee me in the bank. The bank agreed to give me the money, loan, everything. And I said, okay, I was very young, and I sincerely believed him without asking for any documentation. And I requested to give him this bank letter. So I requested the admin, and then I found the group CEO calling me. I went, hi, how are you? How is the training? Blah, blah, blah. And then he said, I have here a letter from you going to NBK in Kuwait, National Bank of Kuwait, to guarantee somebody for something. What is this? I said, the story is 1, 2, 3. He said, did you investigate that? I said, no, I didn't. He said, are you willing to put your neck on such a big amount? I said, I believe the guy. I might be very wrong. I don't have experience, but I might be wrong. But I believed him. I promised him I'm going to do it. So it's totally on me. It has nothing to do with the company. And I just need this letter. He said, okay, we'll give you the letter. You can pick it up tomorrow. Then the next morning, I got again a call from his office, and they say, he wants to see you. So I went back and I said, yeah, okay, how can I help? I'm not getting the letter. He said, no, you're getting the letter. If you want to, you're fine. But we spoke internally and we spoke with the CEO, and we've agreed to give him 50% and to loan him 50% with no interest from the company. So he doesn't need you anymore. And I said, yeah, but this is something good that I wanted to do. And he said, well, there is a lot of good in this world that you can do, so don't worry about this one. And whenever you have cases like this, come back to us. So this was me starting the company in the first 2 years. And you can imagine. And I actually looked at him and said, did you investigate? So he laughed and he said, no, we're going to take your word for it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So this was the level of the company that we're talking about. And you can measure this. I gave you a little bit of an extreme examples, but you can measure this across the board. It's just a company that took care of its people. 100%. It's a company where you worked for, you know that you are safe.
How do you maintain that at a 40,000 plus people pyramid? Doing it at the top isn't easy, but it's plausible. Doing it at probably a couple layers down is also plausible. But how do you percolate that culture? What did Americana do to percolate that culture down to the bottom?
They were just there for every single person. They had the insurance. These cases were like, not every day you have cases.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand that.
But they took care of every single case that was raised. Some of them were investigated, some of them were not investigated, but they took care of every case. They never said no. They didn't do it in a crazy, unorganized way. No, it was very organized. It had people who are monitoring it, people who are accountable for such things. So yeah, it was very well articulated and managed, even though it was not on a piece of paper with a policy. It wasn't. Don't ask me how, but in this part of the world, what we call the blessings or the barakah. So I think it was so blessed that it just went very well, very nicely, perfectly. So it was good.
And I think that speaks volumes of the size and the scale they achieved in the region.
Yeah, I mean, this company, I don't know if you know the start, but this company in 1964 started. And then in 1967...
64?
Yes. And then in 1967, it was a butcher house. It was a butcher shop in the street in Kuwait.
Okay.
And then Nasser al-Kharafi, God rest his soul, the owner, the Kuwaiti owner. In 1969, he was in England and saw Wimpy. So he said, I want to bring Wimpy to this part of the world. And his entourage at that time, they said, we eat meat. Who would mince meat and eat it and put it in a sandwich? We eat rice and meat. And he said, I want to get it. And then he got it. And then
was Wimpy the first brand they brought?
Yep, the first shop, the first brand, the first everything. And Nasser al-Kharafi himself and Mu'taz al-Alfi, the founder with Nasser al-Kharafi, and the president until the day of the acquisition. They used to sit in the factory under the offices in a place called Shuwaykh in Kuwait. And they used to do the burgers with their hands.
Nice. Wow.
And then in 1970, let me tell you why Americana is called Americana.
Yeah, it is. I've always thought about it.
Yeah, and then in 1971, again, Nasser Khurafi was in the US, saw KFC, said, let's bring KFC. They traveled, they did it, and the first restaurant of KFC opened in Kuwait in 1973, if I'm not mistaken, September 26. Why Americana is called? Because they were negotiating the KFC and they were sitting in a motel called Americana next to the offices of KFC International at that time.
Oh, wow.
And when they signed the deal, they thought that it would be a good omen to take the name of the motel where they were sitting. So this is where the name came from.
Nice.
A lot of stories came up after that, but this is the true story though. Then in 1981, they started building all the factories to support. And this is how it became. In the 90s, it became a huge company.
Wow. Oh, wow. But that's a strong legacy.
Yes.
Like 64, 67, 73, the milestones that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I mean, Wimpy's in 73. I mean,
No, Wimpy was in 69. KFC started in 73.
So I'll tell you, I was just remembering my childhood. I'm a 90s kid, and I think I remember in India, McDonald's came in 93 and Wimpy's also came at the same time.
No.
And I think growing up, more than McDonald's, my favorite burger was Wimpy's. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that a lot of 90s kids in India, and especially in north of India, New Delhi, they still miss Wimpy's, and nobody ever understood why it did not scale.
It's a legacy.
It's a legacy.
It's
but like that bean.
It's a beacon.
Yeah, that bean, that sesame seed bean bun was actually iconic Wimpy's for us, not McDonald's.
When McDonald's came to the Middle East, I remember they opened their first store in Kuwait in 1994. Americana already had Hardee's, KFC, Wimpy, Pizza Hut. All of this was there already.
I'm surprised. Wow.
I'm really surprised. In big volumes because they started in the 80s and the 70s.
Yeah, no, I'm really surprised. And it makes sense. Like it's surprising and it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
The legacy is so strong.
I'll tell you why Americana didn't have for a very long time Pizza Hut. So they got Pizza Hut. And then somebody who was smart looked to the owners and the founders and said, we are in the Arab world. Everybody eats the Lebanese cheese on bread. Why would people eat pizza? And in 1987, Americana turned down Pizza Hut and they sold it left, right, and center, and they only kept Egypt and UAE. Then later on, they discovered the mistake. They acquired Jordan and Bahrain. And then the new management, they acquired Saudi.
That's why they don't...
They took Saudi from Mawarid.
Did they?
Yeah, Mawarid, they bankrupt 2 years back or 3 years back.
Oh, yeah, Americana just
got this.
No, so
they got another market as well. I don't remember where. But they got another market as well.
I used to wonder when I got to know for the first time a couple of years back, when Mawarid was still running it, when I got to know that Pizza Hut Saudi is not with Americana, I was like, why will Americana leave Saudi?
Yeah, well, now you know.
Thank you for answering.
Now you know. It was, people here eat manusha.
Yeah.
Why would they eat this? Well,
but
you have
that's a
the great
fair
success stories and you have the great learning stories, I
yeah,
guess.
but it's a fair assessment. It's a fair assessment. Right?
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the story behind Pizza Hut.
I think companies like Americana and such stories of taking care of people speak to me a lot because I kind of come from the same school of thought and same practice. So they speak to me a lot because I you can feel that what's the end outcome, because in the short term, taking care of your people and being human while building business, being conscious while building business, can be difficult in the short term.
Yes.
Very difficult actually at times. And there are good things that happen, and there are very, very stupid things that people do. So, but in the long term, I think such stories are very inspirational for anybody who thinks long term and who believes in people.
It is. I think it is the only, among many, but the only main pillar that I would attribute success to for a person like myself or for a company. Straightforward, nothing else.
And then Olayan rescued you from oil and gas.
Oh, yes. God bless Burger King. Yeah. When I got this job, I was very excited. And I spoke to my wife about it. And she looked at me and she said, "Are you thinking? Move. You weren't happy for 4 years. Move, please. We need you to be happy." I said, "It's in Saudi. I'm going to leave you guys and go." She said, "Just go. Do whatever you love. Do whatever you like. We'll be here. We'll come to you. Don't worry about this." Olayan is a great company. I'm very proud working for it. And I hope that I'll be in it until I decide to retire. It's a company that takes care of its people. It's a company that don't talk too much about itself, and this is something that I like. It is a company that is successful in so many domains. You will be shocked to know. And the shareholders and owners are very down-to-earth, normal people, which makes them, in my opinion, great people. I recently heard a definition of greatness that I love, and I keep spreading it everywhere I go. It is very nice if you become famous in your life. And it is also very nice if you become great in your life. But not a lot of people will become famous, unfortunately. Very little people will become celebrities. But everybody can be great, because greatness is defined by doing something good to others. And this is one thing that all of us can do every single day. And I believe that Olayan is a company that lives with this definition. And I believe that the more people we can have like this in our communities, in our companies, and around the world, this place can become a much better place.
That's a big thing to say, and congratulations on landing that then, because finding another place which lives by the principles, especially in the professional world, it's very difficult.
Wallahi, it isn't. I think humans are making it difficult, to be honest. But other than that, no, I don't think it is.
No, finding a place like this is difficult. I mean, I personally believe that the decision of who do you marry,
I was lucky. I was very lucky.
where do you live, and who are the people you work with. These three decisions just take you on a roller coaster of life in a good or a bad way.
Yeah.
And you will not have much control over what's coming after these three decisions. You can have a lot of control, more control than people think you can have in these three decisions. You can be wrong, but you still have your choices in this. But what happens after you make these choices is rarely in your control. So I think that's to me, that's personally very, very important. I mean, if you work with wrong people in any capacity, your investors, your partners, your customers, your vendors, your employees, no matter what relationship that is. If you work with people who are not aligned with your ethos, good or bad is subjective. You can be bad in somebody else's books. But if they don't align with your ethos, you're basically signing up for a very poor life for no reason. I mean, you can justify it, but to me, it's crazy.
I actually thank you for saying this, because I was wondering how to put it in one sentence, but you actually did. So where I lived with a very, very strong working mother who shaped me big time until today. She gives me a hard time until today. Hi, Mom. My dad, God rest his soul, was one of the kindest people I have met in my life, even though he had a very good governmental position. But he was very kind, super sweet. Never seen something like this in my life. And then there are what I call 5 plus 3.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 plus 3. There are 5 executives that I worked for in Americana who made me who I am today. And I owe them the entire thing. I owe it to them. If it wasn't the 5 of them, I wouldn't have been here talking to you. You wouldn't have thought that I'm a veteran. I wouldn't have achieved what I have achieved today. And the other 3 are 3 others that I worked with outside of Americana, who also helped me shape in a very different way. So yes, 5 plus 3 plus mom and dad is why I am here today. And you add to this the house or who you decide to marry, a very supportive and loving wife who literally took care of me in every single step of the way. Then my friends. I love my friends. But yeah, if you look, I believe
I think
that...
I covered that in all the 3 aspects.
Yeah, but this is why I said thank you for bringing it the perfect way.
Because your friendships are a function of where do you live and where do you work.
Yes.
That's how it happens to you, right? So
yeah. So life is, end of the day, I hate to say it is indeed experiences, but I think it is more interactions. I always like to put interactions before experiences. And this is what formulate a human being.
What's been, how different is the business that you're doing from your lens? What you were doing up until 2016, let's say, 16, 17, and what you started doing, let's say, after 2021 at Olayan. What's the difference in the work, or what's the difference in the way? Did you change? You want to throw some light at that?
I changed drastically.
Tell me more. That's meat.
I changed drastically. So I was very soft, nice, people caring, the culture of Americana. And I thought that this is the end of the world. It is just perfect. Then I left Americana. Then I worked with the management of Americana. And I learned a lot from those people, I have to admit. I left, but I learned. I learned to be a little bit more tough, which I think is a good thing. I learned that KPIs sometimes is extremely important. Not only the love of people and the caring for people. I learned so much about acquisitions in the oil and gas company, which is something I only knew how to sub-franchise. But I learned a lot about merger acquisitions. So I went from a person who knows how to manage a portfolio of restaurants from a manual to a person who manages much better, strategically look into things much better. I definitely became tougher on people, but I still think that the Americana culture is the perfect culture. And now I discovered that there are similar cultures around the world, because when we were in Americana, we thought when we left Americana that Americana was the only company like this. No, there are a lot of companies who are like this, and there are a lot of owners who are like this. But end of the day, you need to have the balance as well. You need to see the business growing. You need to make sure that people are running with you and sharing the same dreams and goals. And when they share the execution as well, not share the vision and go along with you.
Otherwise, business will go down and you won't be able to take care of the same people anyway.
And this is what happens in a lot of cases. What is right, I would put it this way. What is right, what is wrong, and is very clear. So from a management that I resigned and left, I today take pride of saying I learned from them this and that. A gas company that I was very happy to leave, I owe them a lot of learnings about mergers and acquisitions. And as well, the great people I met that we talked earlier about. So yes, I changed. I'm no longer as soft as I thought I was. I am much more strategically driven at the moment. And I guess I learned a little bit about creativity. So I can sit and dream and think of things that are totally outside of the box. And this is because of doing so many things in my career.
Give me an example. Unless it's a secret.
No secrets. I just don't like to talk about myself much, but I can
go. This
tell you.
This podcast is about you.
I know, but we can talk about all what we talked about. But yeah, I like the fact, I like it that I am 55 years old and one of my kids is a graduate of the UK from a computer science distinguished company. And when he got stuck in his IT problems, he comes to me and I actually resolve them.
Come on.
Yes.
Then we'll talk.
Hi, Mustafa.
That's a flex. That's a great flex.
So yeah, but I love IT and I read a lot about it and I'm so into it. So when I sit with the marketing team, I talk social media and I talk we do this and we don't do that and we go here and we go here. And I acknowledge, while I am a dinosaur, but I don't believe I'm a dinosaur, but I acknowledge what Gen Z is talking about. Through research and through talking to people. And
how much are you chatting with ChatGPT?
Oh my God, it's my best friend.
I heard, I figured.
And I don't use ChatGPT to write email or make presentations.
I figured.
We have conversation going back and forth.
I figured.
I'm, by the way, I don't know if you know this or not, I'm a life coach.
Did you do a certification on that? Nice. Which one?
I got my certification. Now don't ask me. I'm just life coach. I did it like 12 years ago or something.
Oh, okay.
But I do it until today. I do life coaching and I do executive coaching.
Oh, you do that professionally?
I practice, but predominantly 90% of my clients are non-paying clients from within my organization.
Nice.
But we make it professional. It's like 45 minutes. It's a coaching session out of the company in a Starbucks or wherever we go. And it has nothing to do with our work. It's part of me learning from the team and developing the team.
And helping them build a life.
Yes, and helping me understand a lot of what they are doing. So I do this with a lot of young people.
Awesome.
So yeah. So, and when I go to the restaurants, I talk to customers, kids, everybody. Sometimes I sit on the ground to talk to a 6-year-old about what he likes and what he doesn't like about the kids' meals. And so I am told that I'm a dinosaur, but by all my kids, but I don't think I'm a dinosaur.
But that's amazing. That's, I think,
and we practice this every day at work.
That is beautiful.
We do all of those sessions about ideation and creativity, and I walk into the room, say we're going to sit here for 2 hours. And we're not going to talk about work. I need somebody to tell me an idea that nobody ever thought of. And most probably half of the people in this room are going to say it's crazy and it will never work. And this is the idea that we're going to try to work it around.
That, I think, is the freshmost thing that I've heard in a while. And especially, and that, it's a curiosity that I have for brands like Burger King, and I will include McDonald's and Domino's and KFC and Pizza Hut in the same league, which is I actually wonder that most of these brands that I just named have a lot of millennial nostalgia. We grew up watching it, both boomers and millennials. There's a lot of nostalgia around these brands. We still relate to them as, the food item that they represent, and that's why I feel that there is business. But Gen Z and Gen Alpha have no nostalgic feelings around these brands.
They don't have feeling.
Separate
They don't have
problem.
feelings.
Yeah, separate problem. Right?
They grew up in a different world.
And I feel that all of these brands, and which includes Burger King in this conversation, they really need to do something about this, because it's not about your top line today or tomorrow. I mean, even not next year or next 3 years. I think all these brands should be worried about next 10 years, because if you're not doing something to catch Gen Alpha in this decade by wooing Gen Z equally successfully, next 10 years, I mean, life post 10 years is going to be very difficult for all these brands. Will become real dinosaur. What do you think?
So yes, it is something to be worried about. I guess all companies are researching and trying to discover how to manage marketing through social media. It doesn't mean that you sometimes have a trend or something on social media that you become the guru of social media. Work promoting those brands, their food. I was just reading an article last week, and they were saying in the US, the consciousness and usage of healthy food for teens has grown from 13 to 16% in 1 year.
13 to 60.
16.
60.
3% in 1 year is a big number.
Yep.
In this industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So while a lot of people are saying that healthy food is not really growing as people would have thought, I think it is. And the industry of healthy food is doing whatever it takes for them to compete with anybody else. And the awareness on healthy foods and in healthy life in general, would be in sports and medical care and food and everything, is growing. And at a certain point, healthy food will be good and affordable. And this will be the time where we will have to figure it out. We need to figure it out from now, actually. But this will be
I think it's not only about healthy. I think
cross-section.
my question is, I hear you. And I think my question, I will still expand it. I think it's really about how do you build that relationship with them. I think marketing is one facet of it. Food that speaks to them, baked instead of fried, can be another dimension of that. I don't know what other dimensions are.
The dimension of delivery. Those are people who sit in their room.
Correct. They don't want to come out.
They don't talk to a lot of people. They only talk through computers and through chat boxes and through games that they play together. But now it's becoming globally. It's not even their friends from home. And they order food. We actually are running we have a series of campaign targeting gamers that started in Saudi Arabia for Burger King. So we did a lot of research with gamers, and they prefer to eat specific food in a specific way because they eat when they are playing.
Correct. One hand.
Yeah, so we discovered a lot of things. And if you don't have... We thought that finger foods is important for them. They said, no, we like sandwiches. We are okay with sandwiches. But sandwiches, they have to be messy, and they have to have a lot of sauces. And sauces have to have a lot of variety. And we just... I would say 50% of what we thought as human beings was wrong. They have their own thing.
How did you do the survey?
We did marketing research. We did research. We hired companies. We got gamers. We talked to them, had usually do research, but better than the research is to do the focus groups. So we have 6 people in a room in different ages.
Did you call them to your centers?
No, in the agency. The agency is the one who recruit all of them, but we attend everything. So you sit with them and you discuss. So you have 6 females, 6 males, 16, 6 young adults. Gamers are up to my age, are gamers. 70% of the population of Saudi Arabia are gamers. This is huge.
Gaming is that big here.
70% of the population play games on a decent level.
Wow.
And the other 70% is below 35 years old. But the gamers, they have above 35 years old. Last year they had the World Cup. Nobody understood that, but this was a massive event.
Which games are they playing? First person shooting?
Everything. They play everything. I'll tell you, we have a colleague of ours in the office. She's a young girl, young Saudi. And I discovered once upon a time that she actually developed a game and sold it and became rich. She's still working with us and everything. But they do a lot of things here. They develop games, they play games, they compete in games. It's massive. When I heard 2 years back that they're going to host the World Cup in gaming, I was like, what is this? And then after that, we discovered that this was as good as a World Cup of soccer. But it's a world that we are not aware of.
But that is amazing. I mean, if you're doing something for gamers, that's a great...
Everybody's doing. If you look in the market, all our competitors, or majority of our competitors, actually we are following. We are not the leaders in this. A lot of people started doing great stuff.
Are you going ahead and doing some in-game advertising? And
we are. Yeah, we are going very heavy. Over the coming 3 years, we're going to be super heavy on that.
Wow. Merch and in-game...
and associating ourselves with gamers and with the sports athletes. Okay. When I was in KFC, we did 2 promotions in 2 different years. One with Messi, one with Ronaldo, for example. And now when you look for a celebrity, they have to be associated with social media. They have to be associated with something related to technology. So now we are choosing a famous player in the arena of Saudi Arabia. The agency came back and said, he has to be a gamer. You cannot just take him because he's famous playing his own sport. He has to do the sport and has to be a gamer as well. And we actually found one. And we discovered that there are so many. It's like it was not a difficult thing to find someone. It's just finding their time is the difficult part. But identifying the right candidate, there are so many.
Wow.
So you can be a famous football player, and at the same time, you discover that he's also a famous in gaming on FIFA 2025 or whatever.
That's a pressure on real sports people, huh? That's a crazy pressure on...
Listen, every day we're discovering something in this journey now. Every single day. I'm just in the beginning of the journey. But yes, we are discovering a lot of things, and the world is changing slowly but surely.
That's awesome. That's really amazing. What are you doing to keep yourself enriched apart from being friends with ChatGPT? Do you read? Do you listen to podcasts?
I love reading. And I guess moving to Saudi Arabia and living on my own when I'm here gave me a lot of time to do 2 things that I love. I love reading, and I love going into the restaurants by night, talking to people, talking to our staff. I actually hold a lot of meetings in the restaurants, talking to our customers, understanding. It's just amazing to sit and talk to people. And people like to talk when they know who you are. It's like, I'm a manager in Burger King, or I'm a manager or whatever. People just like to sit. They're willing to give you at least 15 to 20 minutes of their time to talk to you about what the competitors are doing and what you are doing and their ideas of how great you can be and how to make you great. And you will be surprised if you take 10-20% of what you're being told, it can literally make you great. Those people are really good in what they say. They know exactly what they're saying. You just need to listen carefully.
Correct.
So yeah, 2 things: reading, talking to people in the restaurants, including my staff, my team, my colleagues, my family. I call them my family. We're one family. We're one big, I call them the Olayanis. We're all the Olayanis. So I'm very soon going to give them passports.
Give me a story on something that you discovered or learned or figured after talking to your staff through these, on ground visits, unplanned or unannounced, and that brought a change, like some insight where you could actually also bring like a material change or tangible change to, your process or your company or something.
Let's choose one. So I'll give you from recent stuff. So I was in a restaurant and we were having a promotion, an LTO, a new LTO. And the usual problems with an LTO is the training. If it flies well in the beginning, you run out of stock, or these are the common things that you
Correct.
hear. Quality, do we do it right or not? Is every customer getting the right experience? And then I was with one of our staff, and he said, "You don't get it." I said, "I don't get what?" He said, "We keep launching great sandwiches that you keep getting from Burger King International." He was a local guy. He said, "If you want something to fly with you, bring us something local." I said, "What local? You want me to do shawarma in Burger King?" He said, "Yeah, I want you to do shawarma in Burger King. Do something like this. This will resonate better." So the next day I met the team and I said, "This guy told me this yesterday. What can we do?" 3 weeks down the road, somebody came and he said, the marketing team actually, said, "We're going to do a tannoor whopper." You know tannoor? Okay, tannoor is a Lebanese sandwich style. And we literally did that. We launched a chicken with garlic mayo and fries in Arabic bread. And we launched a meat sandwich with the full constituents of a shawarma meat product with tahina in an Arabic bread sandwich.
In Burger King.
In Burger King. And we launched them in November 2023 after 1 month of the boycott started. They were great. They did very well. We removed them because it was an LTO, limited time offer. People are still asking for it.
Wow.
Some of our competitors launched it last month. So it was a learning for everybody. Yeah, and this was an idea that was initiated by somebody who didn't even know the idea, but insinuated something around it.
That is very, very cool. And for you guys to actually formulate that,
It took 6 months after that.
yeah, that was one
After
question.
agreeing on the concept,
Yeah.
between approvals and finding the material and the shelf life, it's a nightmare. Especially the tahina is a product that maximum shelf life you can get 43 months, and we can never operate with such a thing. So, but we launched it, we tried it, it was great. Now we are rethinking it again. Shelf life are now went up from 3 months to 9 months. The new product development team have done miracles the last year on actually developing the right way. So yeah, this is one thing among so many, because again, you hear a lot, but I promise you, 20% of what you get is amazing. You just need to take it seriously and not to dismiss it. And this is why I'm telling you, I walk into the room and say, "Give me an idea that half of the room will think it's a crazy idea and will never be done. This will be the idea that we should work on."
Sherif, this was
Inshallah.
absolute pleasure to not only know your story, to know your story from your eyes, from your lens. And one word that I'm taking away from this entire conversation is massive gratitude that you carry for all the people in your past life, in your current life, And now I know that you are giving back in more than one ways by being a life coach and helping people build a life. These are the conversations that make this entire effort worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. You're giving me more than I deserve, but yeah, this is, I guess, what it ends up for. Uh, we need to make this planet a better place to live for our kids and the generations after, and we need to make sure that everybody around us are living a good life as much as we can.
Absolutely. With you on it.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed discussing it with you very much. And thank you for completing all the sentences that I was unable to complete. You helped me a lot. But it was great. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it.